I've opened every single geography question UPSC asked from 2013 to 2025. Every PYQ. And I found something that completely changed how I look at geography preparation. The syllabus barely moved, but the way UPSC evaluates answers changed dramatically. So, before we begin, let me ask you one question, that is, how many of you still prepare geography like this? Reading NCRT, underline definitions, memorize locations, revise diagrams, and hope marks will follow. How many? How many of you prepare like this? Because that preparation model increasingly does not match the current paper. Because please look at the shift. Earlier, they asked mountain, formation, explanation, and marks will follow. But now increasingly asking like this: climate, then society, then resources, then vulnerability and adaptation. That means UPSC is no longer asking, do you remember geography? No. Increasingly it is asking, can you think geographically? And those are not the same thing. So the direction has been changed dramatically from earlier to now, that is 2020 to 2025. So in this context, today we are not doing chapter revision, we are opening 13 years of evidence, that is previous year's questions from 2013 to 2025. Why are we opening the 13 years of evidence, 30 years of PYQs? To answer three questions. What are the questions? The questions are here. What changed? What survived? And if you are writing mains 2026, what exactly should your preparation become? For these three things we are going to answer with the help of opening of 13 years of PYQs from 2013 to 2025. So let us begin how the asking is changed, why most students underperform in geography. We are going to discuss this in this segment. So for this, students usually make three mistakes as far as geography GS paper 1 preparation is concerned. What are the mistakes? What type of mistakes they are? So that is the mistake number 1 we are going to discuss, that is they treat geography as a static subject. They treat geography as a static material. Like they are preparing mountains, rivers, climate, their formation, etc. etc. That type of static things. Then they feel they finished a subject. They finished the syllabus. But UPSC increasingly evaluates interaction rather than static, rather than formation, etc. etc. So interaction between or among those systems is need of the hour rather than memorize those mountains, rivers, climate, etc. So we are moving to mistake number two, that is they separate physical geography and human geography. They create boundaries for physical geography and human geography. But UPSC never asking like that because UPSC combines them both physical as well as human geography. So separating the syllabus and preparing with the separation is not going to help you in this context as far as students is concerned. So this is the second mistake. And the third mistake is they prepare facts. They majorly prepare facts. But UPSC rewards explanation rather than facts. So that is why students say, sir, question looked familiar, but I could not able to write the answer. So because recognition is not the execution. That is the main rule you have to understand. You have to observe. Because recognition, most students feel because recognition is the execution. That is not the correct thing. Because recognition is not the execution. When you well perform in the answer writing in the examination, then only you can able to have good marks, get good marks. With the knowledge only is not able to help you in the examination. Execution is the main thing in the examination as far as mains exam is concerned. So these type of three mistakes students have been made in the exam for preparing geography usually. So what are the mistakes we discussed so far? Those are the mistakes. That is why students underperform in the examination. So we are moving to the classification of the 2013 to 2025 questions into the eras. We are going to classify these are into three eras. The first era is foundation, that is foundation era 2013 to 2016. Why we call it as foundation phase? This period rewarded conceptual clarity. UPSC tested in this period conceptual clarity. That type of questions have been asked. That type of questions asked in 2013 and 2013 to 2016 papers. What are the questions? The questions belongs to, they asked it as in continental drift question, temperature inversion, fold mountains, asked about ocean currents and monsoon and industrial location. They asked questions on these topics, that too foundational conceptual clarity type of question they asked in the foundation. They asked in 2013 to 2016 era. But what type of pattern has have to follow? Students, what type of pattern they follow in the answer writing in that era is concept, then causes, effects, and conclusion. This type of pattern they followed to write exam, to write questions for era number one, that is 2013 to 2016. So for this era preparation, what type of requirements students one able to write a good answer or good preparation? Student requirements are NCERT and standard sources. That is enough on that time, 2013 to 2016. What UPSC asked on that time? Do you know geography? That type of questions they asked. They mainly focus on conceptual clarity from the student perspective. So this was a knowledge first era, that is 2013 to 2016. But then something changed in the era number 2, that is 2017 to 2021. This era is called as systems shift. Systems shift. Why it is called as systems shift era? So this is where geography became interesting. When you look at the question movement, when you understand it, you automatically able to know what we call this system shift as this era. So what are the questions belongs to? What type of questions asked in this era? Cryosphere, ocean salinity, water stress, interlinking rivers, and industrial location. Arctic forest resources. These type of they asked these type of questions, and these topics they touched in this 2017 to 2021 era number 2. These are not isolated topics, these are all systems. So preparation is changing to isolated topics to systems. That observation you have to make. Comes to answer pattern became like this: process, interaction, spatial variation, then consequences. This should be the answer pattern, structure of the answer. UPSC shifted from what to how. What to how. Students who only memorized content started struggling from here because they asked from what to how. So the memory is not only sufficient. So we are moving to era number 3, that is resilience and application. This is the current era. This era is consists of 2022 to 2025. Recent questions are belongs to this era. In recent questions, increasingly asks about groundwater, food security, artificial intelligence plus GIS, climate adaptation, sea level rise, human development, cyclones and risk. So this type of topics they are asked. So look at these topics, then you are going to observe something very deeper. That is, this means geography became administrative rather than pure geography. So what is the pattern in the answer writing here? The structure here is natural system, then human interaction, then risk, then adaptation. So this is the pattern structure to write a good answer. So and this I believe is one of the is the biggest geography shift of the last decade, because geography is became administrative rather than pure geography. The biggest geography shift of the last decade. So now if UPSC changed the questions, become what pattern survived. That is where question families began. So we are moving to the six question families. We are classified from 2013 to 2025 questions belongs to six families. So far, we established one thing clearly, that is, the syllabus stayed, but evaluation evolved. So now the important question is, if UPSC no longer asks random geography, then what does it repeatedly test? This type of doubt will come automatically. So after opening the 13 years of PYQs, I think geography increasingly revolves around six recurring families. If students understand these six families, preparation becomes dramatically more focused. So that is why we are going to discuss these families. So let us open them. So we are moving to the family number one, that is Earth systems. What is the Earth systems? What is the family number one? How the planet builds and reshapes itself. That is belongs to Earth systems. What are the topics belongs to this family? Plate tectonics, mountain systems, volcanism, continental evolution, geomorphology. These topics belongs to Earth system. So from these topics, we have taken examples from PYQs. What are they? Like continental drift question, mountain mantle plume question, then fold mountains question, then question on circum-Pacific zone, then question on tectonic reshaping. These type of questions asked in previous years. So these type of questions all belongs to this particular family, that is called Earth systems family. So after this observation, after this, what we have to understand, what UPSC is evaluating. So UPSC is evaluating not definitions anymore, because UPSC wants a process understanding. UPSC wants process understanding rather than definitions. So this is what we understand so far. Then identifying the topic, what is the next thing we have to do? Write an answer. What type of answers fetching you good marks in the examination? Weak answer or strong answer? Let's take weak and strong. For example, weak answer should be like this: plate movement causes earthquakes. Plate movement causes earthquakes. This is the weak answer because everybody knows this. So strong answer should be like this: lithosphere movement, then stress accumulation, then fault release, then geomorphic transformation, then human implications. This is the process. Plate when plate movement starts and it leads to earthquakes. This is the whole process we are telling, we are explaining in this answer structure. So simply we are not saying plate movement causes earthquakes. We have to explain the process. Then only you can fetch good marks in the examination. This shift is changing from weak to strong answer, from era 1 to era 3. So this is the clear observation you have to made. What in this context, what is student has to make, what student is make in the preparation? Never explain landforms in isolation. Always connect formation, then distribution, then impact. Always connect formation, distribution, and impact. This type of preparation is need of the hour as far as student is concerned for geography preparation. So for going to 2026 mains examination, this family remains tier 1. So this is going to be one of the most important family for 2026 mains examination as far as geography is concerned. After this family number 1, we are moving to family number 2, that is atmosphere and climate. The most powerful family in geography. This is topics consists of this family are monsoon, air masses, cyclones, temperature systems, climate variability, and weather mechanisms. These topics are belongs to this particular family, that is atmosphere and climate. So what type of PYQs from this we observed so far? Troposphere, El Nino, cloud burst, sea surface temperature, climate and food security. These type of recent PYQs belongs to this atmosphere and climate family. And one more thing you have to be very clear, that's it. That is, you have to keep an eye on El Nino and La Nina every year because those topics are most important. So comes to the question shift. Earlier they asked explain monsoon type of questions, direct questions. The questions were simple and direct, but now changed the questions. Explain consequences of changing monsoon. Now the question like this: explain consequences of changing monsoon. From earlier question explain monsoon to explain consequences of changing monsoon. This is most important. UPSC increasingly tests here atmosphere, then agriculture, then economy, and then society. This is the chain. This is the chain system of questions they are asking. What is the student rule here is have to do, have to obey. Every climate answer should include mechanism, regional variation, human implication, future adaptation. These four things must include in every climate answer as far as geography paper is concerned. So this will be the highest probability family in upcoming 2026 mains. Because look at the questions: atmosphere, agriculture, economy, society, impacts, all these type of questions comes under this family maybe. And then we are moving to family number 3, that is ocean systems. This is the hidden geography giant. Why I am telling like this, I am saying like this, the hidden geography giant, because topics relating to currents, salinity, marine systems, coastal processes, blue economy. These all topics belongs to the ocean systems family. Those are currents, ocean salinity, and marine systems and coastal processes. And blue economy. Blue economy is most emerging concept as far as ocean systems is concerned. So what we come across, observe recent PYQs, that is ocean currents, water masses, offshore oil, marine ecosystems, and sea level rise. Please notice the movement. Ocean questions are no longer where is the ocean type of questions. Now they are asking how oceans shape civilization. This is the real change you have to observe and understand and remember. So, what should be the framework for answer writing regarding this particular family? Ocean process, then then leads to resource potential, then leads to strategic implications, then wind off. This is the framework, this is the structure, this is the pattern, this is the flow of writing answer as far as ocean systems family is concerned. So what student must accept and must prepare like that, that is student rule, always connect ocean to economy. This is most important thing while preparation, while preparing exam and writing answer also. So then we are moving to family number 4, that is resource geography. What is the resource geography? This is the most administrative family in the entire families of 6. In this family, the topics are belongs to energy, minerals, agriculture, water, industrial geography. Comes to PYQs recently asked: solar, wind, groundwater, and food security. Groundwater and food security questions is asking again and again, and oil resource localization. These type of PYQs asked from this particular family, that is resource geography. What is the question's logic here? Resource distribution, constraint, and governance. This is the pattern of the, this is the answer structure should be. In this particular family, students often miss this. What? UPSC is rarely asking list resources. It increasingly asks manage resources rather than list sources. It changed shift from list sources type of questions to manage resources type of questions. This should be the extremely high value for mains 2026 family, because in this energy sector presented here, because energy sector and mineral operations are going to be very important in the in the energy sector is changing from renewable to non renewable to renewable, and electric EV also. Then we are moving to family number 5, that is population and development. This family belongs to human geography. This is the human geography shift. Topics belongs to this family are demography, human development, urban systems, regional inequality, and migration. Currently undergoing the census, digital census is also undergoing. So you have to be very focused. You have to be very strict regarding this family. Questions might be asked from that point of thinking, that point of way also, direction also. So what is the recent direction? That is human development, demographic, winter, population distribution, and planning. This is the recent direction of PYQs. So the question engine here is population, then leads to capability, then development, and then spatial variation. This should be the answer structure. Student rule what here is, never write sociology here. Keep answers geographical, because this is GS paper 1 geography, not sociology here. The answer should be like it should be geographical only, not sociology. So always include region, resource, settlement, outcome. These 4 points or 4 topics or 4 themes always include in this section. While answer writing, then we are moving to family number 6, that is hazard risk resilience. The fastest growing family is this, because belongs to these topics: floods, cyclones, landslides, sea level rise, urban vulnerability, climate adaptation. This type of all topics are belong to this only. So recent direction is tsunami, cloud bursts, cyclones, urban floods, glaciers, desertification. This family changed massively. Earlier they asked like this: disaster, then explanation. But now we have to write hazard, then exposure, then vulnerability, then resilience. These type of structure for every answer belongs to this section, this family. Every disaster answer should include risk reduction. Every disaster answer should include risk reduction. Adaptation is going to be one of the most important theme from this particular family for 2026 mains examination. So in these six families, what we have learned so far is earth, climate, oceans, resources, populations, hazards, etc. From now, look at these six families together: earth builds systems, climate modifies systems, oceans connect systems, resources sustain systems, population pressures systems, hazards test systems. That that is, I think, is modern UPSC geography. This is the modern UPSC geography. Not chapters, systems. And now the biggest question is, if this is true, how exactly should mains 2026 preparation change? Then we are going to one of the most important part, that is how to prepare for mains 2026 after families, from pattern recognition to execution. So now we know something very important: geography is not random. UPSC repeatedly asks through six families, but analysis alone does not increase your marks. Then what we have to do? Execution. Execution does improve the marks, increase the marks. So the question becomes, if you are writing mains 2026, what should preparation become? That is the main thing. So let me give you the framework I would follow. This is convert into rules. The first rule is stop preparing chapters. Most students prepare like this: chapter wise preparation, like geomorphology, then climatology, then oceanography, then population, then resources, then finished. This is the old way preparation. So this feels productive, but it creates a fragmented thinking. Why? Why? Because UPSC increasingly evaluates connected systems instead of prepare in clusters. Let me take simple example, that is climate cluster. Monsoon then leads to agriculture, then food security, then migration, then disaster risk. This is the one cluster, not five chapters. This is the one important chapter cluster. Then comes to the second cluster, that is water cluster. Groundwater, river basin, then urban demand, then energy, then food. So this is also one cluster. So preparation should be based on clusters rather than chapters. So now geography becomes easier. So what is the rule number one? Stop preparing chapters. Then rule number two, prepare through question families. Do not ask what chapter is left. Ask, how many question families can I write? Please target like this. Comes to family number one, earth systems, you have to write three answers. Family number two, climate, five answers. Family number three, ocean systems, three answers. Family number four, resources, five answers. Family number 5 population, 3 answers. Family number 6 hazard, 5 answers. You have to write these many answers from these question families. So around 24 to 30 strong answers. This changes preparation because mains rewards deployable thinking. So then comes to rule number 3, that is build the geography linkage engine. What is the build the geography linkage engine? This is where marks separate. Every geography answer should attempt at least 3 linkages. That is physical, then leads to economic and social. So let me take one example question. Groundwater decline. What is the weak answer and what is the strong answer? Weak answer, causes, effects, done, finished. But strong answer should be like this. Groundwater decline, then leads to crop stress. Then leads to crop stress, leads to income pressure. Income pressure leads to migration from the particular place to another place. So then migration leads to food security in the received place, reached place. So then policy response. This is the strong answer. This is the way of the structure should be answered. So that answer feels administrative. UPSC likes this type of thinking, this type of answers. So comes to rule number 4, that is 2026 tier system. What is the tier system? Not all topics deserve equal time. Why? Because time is sufficient, time is less, syllabus is vast. So not all topics deserve equal time. So you have to selectively prepared belongs to the tiers. Comes to tier 1, you have to prepare deeply for type 1 topics, tier 1 topics. Those are climate, water, food security, energy geography, urban vulnerability, and hazards population. These all topics belongs to tier 1. So these topics you have to prepare very deeply because these topics deserve more time. Then comes to tier 2, that is moderate depth. Those are industry, ocean systems, and agriculture systems. These type of topics you have to prepare like moderate depth. So then comes to tier 3, that is limited time. Pure factual geography. This should be take tier 3 because recent PYQs increasingly reward application rather than factual. So that is not mean UPSC never give factual question. They might be give, but PYQ, but application is most important and most useful for as a future administrator. So that is the need. That is the that type of thinking you have to improve or imbibe as a future administrator. So comes to rule number 5, that is maps are not optional. Generally, students avoid maps. That is the big mistake. One small map can replace 50 words while answer writing. Wherever needs in the answer writing, you have to use India outline, world outline, flow arrows, resource location, climate movement. Wherever is necessary, you have to use maps in the answer writing. You have to make maps in the answer writing. Few rules you have to applicable. That is, you have to take maximum 30 seconds to write to make a map, not an artwork. only communication to the examiner from your end. That type of map is enough rather than artwork. So time is precious in mains examiners when you are writing answers. So comes to the rule number 6, that is, do not memorize conclusions. Most students write sustainable development should be adopted like this. This says nothing. You have to upgrade conclusions. You have to use vocabulary like resilience, adaptation, efficiency, regional balance, climate readiness, etc. etc. These type of vocabulary you have to use in your answers as far as conclusion is concerned. So comes to the weak and strong conclusion discussing we are going to discuss in this session. That is, weak conclusion like this: government should act, then end. That is the weak conclusion. When it comes to strong conclusion like this: future geography policy must shift from resource extraction toward resource resilience. Much stronger this is. This conclusion should be like this: future geography policy must shift from resource extraction toward resource resilience. These type of conclusion is need of the hour to fetch good marks. Now let us build the final geography execution system, that is geography preparation pyramid. When we come to base, that is, if the base is weak, answer will collapse. So bottom is most important. In the bottom section of the pyramid, it sit concept clarity. When comes to geography preparation pyramid, from bottom to top approach, from bottom is concept clarity, then PYQ understanding, then systems thinking, then question families, then top of the pyramid sit answer writing. Answer writing is top of the pyramid. Concept clarity is bottom of the pyramid. This is the geography pyramid preparation pyramid. You have to understand and remember all the time while preparing this geography subject. One thing you have to be very clear: if base is weak, the answers will collapse. So base is most important. So one more thing very clearly here: not chase more PDFs, more notes, more sources. Instead of that, ask yourself, can I explain why, where, who gets affected, what should happen next? Because that increasingly is geography in UPSC. So one final thing remains: knowing geography is not enough. You must convert it into marks. So for that, let me show you the answer writing engine. We are moving to answer writing engine. How to convert geography knowledge into marks? So far we opened 13 years of PYQs. We identified 6 question families. We understand how preparation should change. But none of this matters and none of this saves you if answers still remain average. So because mains does not reward what you know, it rewards what you can deploy. It rewards what you can write. So let us build the final layer, that is geography answer engine. So in this section, we are going to discuss elaborately. So In this section, we are going to discuss why students lose marks. Why? Students usually fail for four reasons. That is reason number one, definitions. They they write only definitions. They they won't write no explanations, etc. Comes to reason number two, that is no structure. No structure in the answer writing. Points appear disconnected. Reason number three, that is no geography. They are writing only general studies answer rather than geography answer. Comes to the four, problem number four, that is reason number four. They did not write. They are not interested in writing conclusion. Answer simply ends. So these four reasons, like not writing explanations, no structure, no geography answer, and no conclusion. These are the four reasons. And after this, good knowledge but average marks. This type of errors and mistakes have been made while writing answers. So that is why students lose marks. So we are going to next section, that is the 150 word engine. This is 10 marker question. When you have write a 10 marker question in the GS paper 1 geography section, please remember this phenomena, that is GPIA. What is GPIA? G means geographic concept, P means process, I means impacts, A means administrative conclusion. This should become automatic. For every 150 word engine answer, 10 markers answer, you have to write geographic concept, then what is the process, then impact of the process, then administrative conclusion. This should be the flow of the structure. This should be the answer structure. This should be the pattern of the answer. When you come across with the 150 in word engine and 10 marker question, please remember this GPIA technique. Then comes to the actual question. What is sea surface temperature rise and how does it influence tropical cyclones? This is the PYQ come in 2025 or 2024. So let me take GPIA technique we have to apply here. G for concept, geographical concept. Here, what is the geographical concept in the question? What is a sea surface temperature rise, and how does it influence tropical cyclone? This is the question. We have to take first geographical concept. Here, what is the geographical concept? Sea surface temperature rise. The concept geographical concept is sea surface temperature rise. So you have to do first define sea surface temperature rise in two lines under the geographical concept in the step 1 in the GPIA technique. Then comes to the step 2. In step 2, what? Process. P for process. How it is happened? That is the process. Warm ocean, then evaporation, then latent heat, then cyclone intensification. Surface temperature, how to rise and influence to become tropical cyclone. That is the process. We have to write the process. First of all, warm the ocean, then evaporation happens, then latent heat, then cyclone intensification happen. This is the process of sea surface temperature rises to cyclone. This is the process. Then step 3, that is I. I means what? Impacts. Impacts, what impacts? Sea surface rise, tropical cyclones impacts what? Strong winds, flooding may happen, agriculture loss, and coastal stress. These are impacts you have to write in the answer. So then comes to the step number 4, that is A. A means what? Administrative conclusion. For in the administrative conclusion, as far as sea surface temperature rises, it influences tropical cyclones. Then what are the impacts? Comes to the impacts: strong winds, flooding, agriculture loss, coastal stress, etc. Then what is the administrative conclusion? Administrated what type of work they have to do? Forecasting, preparedness, resilient infrastructures. These type of administrative things they have to arrange or make. Forecasting the weather, then preparedness for cyclones, and a resilient infrastructure. So this is the administrative conclusion. This is the GPIA technique for 150 words question, that is 10 marks question. Done. Please notice no unnecessary theory here, just a structure and scoreable. And this is doable, easily doable. So structure is most important when you are writing the answer. So then comes to the section number 3, that is 250 word engine. This is also called as 15 marker question. For 10 marker question, we discussed GPIA technique. For this, space technique. What is the space? This is the core framework here. S for systems, P for process, A for area, C for consequences, E for execution. This fits most geography questions. So let me take the one question, that is, how does climate change affect food security? So S for what? System. This is the system, belongs to climate system. Rainfall, temperature are in the system. Then P, P process. With the climate system changes, crop cycle disruption, water stress, extreme events, then it ultimately leads to food security. So the process is this. Then area. Area means examples, let's say India, let's say Africa, let's say monsoon Asia. Places, area means places. Then C, consequences. With these consequences, production declined, prices increased, nutrition will be declined, migration will be increased. So these type of consequences will happen. Then ultimate space technique, E. E means execution or way forward. So what is the execution or way forward for this? Climate smart agriculture, water efficiency, crop diversification. So this is helpful. So now compare, weak answer should be like this: definition, effects, conclusion. But strong answer like this: system, process, regional variation or area, then impacts, and then way forward. That differences change marks. Look at this. The structure is need of the hour while you are writing an impactful answer. So 150 mark, 150 words question GPIA technique, 250 words question, that is 15 marker question, space technique SPACE. So then moving to section number 4, that is Metis score boosters, what we called. Every geography answer should attempt with one mini map, one flow chart with two examples, and one internal linkage and one future conclusion. Like this. Let's say example, groundwater decline, then agriculture, then income, then migration, then food security. Very little writing but high clarity. So structure should be like this. Using one mini map, a sketch beats paragraph, one flow chart, casual chain, two examples, India and world, etc. Interlinkages like connect physical to human, and one future conclusion, resilience, not government should act, etc. etc. That type of generic words are not necessary here. Resilience. Resilience is need of the hour. So comes to the section number 5, that is weak answer versus strong answer. So let me take one question, that is impacts of current of ocean currents. Discuss impacts of ocean currents. Weak answer should be like this. Weak definition. Weak answer should be like this. What? Definition, list, conclusion. Then score 3 to 4 by 10 marker. So this is the weak answer. But strong answer like this. Map, formation, regional examples, fishing, navigation, climate influence, then conclusion. Then you get good marks 6 to 7 for 10 marker. So same knowledge but different execution. Execution is impact for strong answer writing. So same discuss impacts of ocean currents, same definition, list, conclusion. But here what we are doing is map, formation, regional examples, fishing, navigation, climate influence, conclusion. That is the different execution. So before ending every answer, ask yourselves, did I explain process? Did I show geography? Did I connect to human impact? Did I conclude? If all four are yes, you can submit the answer. So do not write geography as if you are describing Earth. Write geography as if you are explaining systems rather than describing Earth. Because increasingly UPSC rewards not information but rewards what? Interpretation. And before we end, let me show you what I think are the ultra probable geography themes for mains 2026. Ultra probable themes for mains 2026. If I had to bet on where mains 2026 geography is heading to, these are the preparation zones I would prioritize first. Not because UPSC revealed anything, it never does, but because 13 years of papers leave a trail, and that trail points somewhere. Now, one important warning, these are not predictions, this is pattern extraction. I cannot tell you what UPSC will ask. No one can tell you. But PYQs leave behavioral signals, some fingerprints, and serious preparation begins by reading those signals only. So let us open the themes that the last 13 years keep pointing to what. So comes to the ultra probable theme number 1, that is climate, food, and water security. Why? Why this theme is important? Recent questions repeatedly connect climate, agriculture, groundwater, food, risk. So how can you prepare for this theme? Climate variability, food systems, water stress, adaptive agriculture. This should be the preparation style. So what is the possible question here is, climate change increasingly represents a developmental challenge rather than environmental concern. Discuss. This is the probable question. I am not saying this will be the question. Ultra probable theme number 2, that is resource transition geography. Repeated questions on solar, wind, offshore resources, energy geography, resource distribution. That is why this theme is important. How to prepare for this theme? Energy transition, regional inequality, critical resources, resource resilience. Because energy transition is going to oil to batteries. So critical resources like minerals are need of the hour, like for lithium batteries, helium ion batteries, etc. So hydrogen. So possible question here is energy transition may reshape regional development patterns more than industrial policy exam. Comes to ultra probable theme number 3, that is hazard vulnerability resilience. Because floods, cyclones, cloudbursts, sea level rise, urban stress. These type of questions have been asked in recent years. You have to prepare for this urban resilience, risk reduction, disaster geography. Disaster losses increasingly reflect developmental vulnerability rather than natural intensity. Discuss. This is the probable question. Then theme number 4, that is population development capability. Demographic winter, human development, regional disparity, migration. These type of questions are asking again and again in recent times. So that is why this theme is important. Population geography, capability expansion, regional inequality. This type of preparation is needed for this theme. So possible question here is population distribution influences development outcomes through spatial opportunity structures. Discuss. This should be the possible question. Comes to the theme number 5, that is water geography. Because extremely strong continuity, groundwater, river systems, urban demand, food systems. These are continual continuity of asking the questions. How to prepare water stress, aquifer management, river basin approach. This is the way to prepare. Then possibility of question, that is water security increasingly determines economic resilience in India. Examine. This should be the possible. Then last theme, that is technology and geography. Why this theme is important, taking importance? Because recent signals became visible. They're asking on AI, GIS, remote sensing, and planning. So in this context, this theme has important as taking frontline. So how to prepare for this theme is spatial planning, geospatial governance, decision systems, etc. What is the possible question for this theme? That is technology is transforming geography from observation into real-time governance. Discuss. This is the probable question for this theme. So this is the pattern extraction, not prediction. So climate, water, hazards, resources, population. These are the high priority preparation topics. Ocean, industry, agriculture, medium priority. Pure factual memorization is low priority for preparation matrix. So after reading 13 years of geography questions, my conclusion is very simple. UPSC did not make geography harder. It made geography more connected. Earlier, remember. Now, interpret. Earlier, describe. Now, explain. Earlier, study chapters. Now, build systems. And if you remember only one line from this master class, you have to remember this line, that is, geography is no longer the study of places. Interestingly, it is the study of interactions. If this class changed how you look at the geography, comment on the next biggest shift you noticed. Comment on the biggest shift you noticed. Next, we are going to discuss GS4 essay execution, because understanding patterns is useful, but execution create marks. Thank you.